Hello and welcome. This is a really quick tutorial on how to edit configure files for mods within Thunderstore Mod Manager. To start off with, we're going to go ahead and look at Thunderstore Mod Manager as if it just downloaded all of these mods without launching the game once. So I'll go to edit configure. There will be no configure files because, as you could read up here, configuration files are generated after launching the game with mod installed at least once. So to make these populate, I'm going to go ahead and click play modded. It's going to go ahead and pop the screen really quickly for R.E.P.O to be able to start playing. I'll let that full launch. And as you can see, the game is currently playing. I'm going to go ahead and go to quick game on my other monitor. It's going to go ahead and close the game out. And now I'm going to refresh by switching tabs from my mods to edit configure again, and now we can see the full list of configuration files for all associated mods that we have downloaded. So how this works normally, like you have mods that have graphics user interfaces within the game. That would be sliders and such within the actual R.E.P.O game itself that allows you to modify and configure settings, right? Those mods are one kind of mod. The other kind of mod are ones that have configure files that allow you to, like, one by one go through and manipulate default values to modify the mod to your taste. One of the easiest ways to explain this would be something like the more players mod for R.E.P.O. I'm going to go to edit configure, and you'll see that the max amount of players allowed in a server setting type, you don't need to worry about that, but the default is 10, meaning that when the mod comes installed default, the highest amount of players in your lobby you can have is 10. Now, I've seen videos floating around of players having 20 player lobbies or whatever. The way they're doing that is by going into this mod, changing this default value to 20, and then after you've modified a configure file setting, you're going to go ahead and click save. That'll go ahead and save it, so that way the next launch you do of the game will have that configure setting saved. Another example I could use is we could do, I believe, more upgrades. More upgrades allows for the shop to have more items and such in it, and or other stuff that you can go ahead and change setting wise. You'll see for larger mods, whereas the previous one didn't have any blue text sections like this, the larger mods for games will usually have little indexes you can click on to immediately jump to settings that you want to change. For example, right, valuable count, how many valuables you could have, right? So you can say at the top of some of these mods for a setting area, there will be a true or false on whether or not you want this portion of the mod to work, right? So as you can see at the top, we have map enemy tracker, map player tracker, sprint usage, and valuable count. Let's say I only want the map player tracker, sprint usage, and valuable count. I'll go ahead and change the map enemy tracker to false, which will disable that entire section of the mod, save it, and now it won't track enemies, right? But it'll still do the other three functions. Or if we wanted to go ahead and stop tracking players, same thing, set it to false, save it. Now it's set so that way the next time you click play modded, it'll go ahead and launch with those settings. Sometimes these mod files will have default values that may not make sense to you numerically, right? So the max amount of times the upgrade item can appear in the truck, right? Why should you not go all the way up to 1,000 with this? Well, if you check really quickly, this was the more upgrades. If we go to the mods, we find more upgrades within our library of mods and go to website. There are occasionally times where you'll see these, and they will have information on the wiki, source versions, or they'll have a link to the Discord where you could directly ask, is there some kind of reason why I shouldn't do that? And a lot of the time, the reason why you don't set max values for these mods is server stability of the game. It'll just crash you out. It's kind of why playing the 20-player mod, you really shouldn't enable that unless you have somebody hosting the game who has a beefy enough computer not to crash during gameplay. Otherwise, like I said, the Discords exist for you to both talk to the developers of the mods and the community there. If they found out other mods that don't mesh well, that would be the place to ask. But in general, just staying on the easy part of this, the config files are very self-explanatory. You open, edit config, change whatever settings you want to, save, and then launch the game with the associated settings you have configured. I hope this video helped. If you managed to get through the whole thing and it was helpful to you in some way, please leave a like, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.